Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Sunnyside Auto, brought to you by Desert Octane. Today we're going to be going a little bit more JDM with a Japanese sports car, a 2010 Hyundai Genesis Coupe R-Spec. So let's see how crazy we can get it on these hot streets of Phoenix. Wait, this motherfucker is Korean? That can't be right. Nothing comes out of Korea except for barbecue and diva. 2010 Hyundai Genesis Coupe with a 2.0 turbo. This is the first car I've ever encountered that has suicidal tendencies.
It's an R-Spec.
It's an R-Spec. Thank you, Sky Voice. And it's actually quite comfy, despite the fact that it keeps wanting to kill itself. You're going to hear every single bump in the road, but that's just the way this vehicle is built. Pretty sure if it was stock, you wouldn't hear that much. Now normally, I'm not a fan of really loud exhausts, but this one just sings. And it wiggles a little bit though. That's okay. You know, if you have too much power, it tends to do that. The wheel's shaking and the hood's shaking, that's okay. We can get past that. Hyundai Genesis Coupe, unveiled in 2008 as a competitor to both the Ford Mustang and the Infiniti G37. Now, when it first came out, this vehicle came with a 2.0 Turbo 4, which made 210 horses, and a 3.8 Lambda V6 with 306 horses. The options for transmissions were either a 6-speed manual, 5-speed auto, 6-speed auto, or an 8-speed auto, which is a bunch of automatics for a car that looks sporty enough just for a manual only. This specific example is an R-Spec, which when you bought it from the dealership, it was about $6,000 cheaper. However, you didn't get any Bluetooth, cruise control, or other creature comforts, but you did get bigger Brembo brakes, a limited slip differential, and stiffer suspension. This specific example that we're driving comes with an R2C cold air intake, Megan Racing coilovers, Megan Racing poly transmission mount, and a black market racing tune along with a straight exhaust because mufflers in the state of Arizona. Now, in optimal conditions when it's not 100 degrees outside, this will come out to about 274 horsepower and 300 foot-pounds of torque. Now, this is a little bit of a strange example because when the Genesis Coupe came out, it was based off of the Genesis sedan that Hyundai had out, which was a luxury sedan meant to compete with the higher trim of the Camry or the Honda Civic or maybe even the Avalon, something like that. Now, it's not unfamiliar to have a vehicle like the Golf or the GTI, for example, which comes in 2-door or 4-door variants, but it's hard to really relate the Genesis Coupe to the sedan only because they really do look like two different cars. And for the fact that they didn't shove the V8 into the Coupe, which would make it comparable to even the Mustang GT or Camaro SS. I would like to say this is a little bit strange in the car world, however it does work out in its own way, where the Genesis Coupe doesn't have that much left to share with its sedan counterpart. 2010 Hyundai Genesis, brought to you by going to your therapist on time, early, and as often as you can, as allowed by health insurance. This is actually, I would say, a simple, simplistic, familiar driving setup. Shifters down here. Normally other cars would have shifters like, you know, a little bit further ahead, the longer shift handle, but this one's a short throw, straight in the middle, so I can rest my arm on the armrest right behind me and still have shifting ability. Now, the downside is I can't even read the numbers on this thing because there's some sort of faux shade kind of deal, but that's okay. We're in America.
How you gripping the shifter like that, like the dick?
I want to make sure the car feels like it's wanted, okay? This car's had a very hard life. I don't want it to get any more depressed. Now, you know, notwithstanding the very, very bumpy ride and everything, this does feel like a very sporty car. The entire layout just screams sporty, weekend racer. Like, hey, I'm going to work at my stupid ass office job, but I like to brave. No, like to race fools on my way to work. It's exactly what this car screams of. Okay. Stop. Jesus. If I were to equate this to a car from the last 2 decades, it would be the Nissan 350Z or 370Z. Unfortunately, Nissan's had that car in production for so long, it's just a shell of its former self, and the Hyundai Genesis Coupe is what it could have been. The Genesis Coupe is a relatively cheap and reliable vehicle that's easy to have fun with, and like the natural progression of all motors these days, it is boosted. Now, I'm sorry, Nissan fanboys, but I'm going to have to come up and stab your king again. Now, you're probably sitting here thinking, well, the Nissan V6 makes the same amount of power as the Hyundai V6. Well, one big difference I can tell you right now is you can carry more than one passenger in a Genesis Coupe versus the Z, and also the Genesis Coupe comes with 2 engine options, one which is a little bit more green, and the other one which is a little bit more sporty, referring to the Turbo 4 and V6 respectively. And once again, I have to bring it up, this car has actually been updated since, 2005, which I'm pretty sure the Z hasn't even seen any sort of upgrade since then either.
It's way quieter.
AC back on. That wasn't too bad.
For a break, it went pretty far.
It went pretty good. I was expecting more turbo pull. However, there's 3 grown men in the car, so that's probably a factor.
It's 112 out right now.
But unlike most turbo cars, and very much like the Volkswagen GTI, this does have a good amount of torque down low, which you don't see with too many turbo cars, I would say. From my experience, though. Normally the torque would be about the mid-range because that's when the turbo really starts going, because of turbo lag and everything, but this still has a good amount of torque down low. Which it's very reminiscent of a muscle car, I would say. Not that this is a muscle car. I mean, it could be. It could be a muscle car in Japan. So we've driven this car in about 110-degree weather, and I am pretty confident we can give this a solid rating in each of our 4 categories. For enthusiasts, this Hyundai Genesis Coupe is easily a strong 2. It's a fun car, it's not going to be the fastest, chokes a little bit on top end, however its handling is very, very confident and very, very simple to get behind, therefore, strong 2. For a daily driver, this also comes in at a strong 2. There are better cars you can drive in your daily commute. There are better cars that can handle or deal with adverse weather than this car. However, this is still something that isn't going to leave you stranded on the side of the road, and it's also going to be getting decent, I would say, fuel economy. Going to our green driver, once again with fuel economy, this comes in at a strong 2. This car gets 30 miles to the gallon thanks to its turbo and its small displacement, and its carbon footprint could be a little bit better, however, because of the sporty modifications, it knocks it down a peg from a 3 to a 2. For a new driver, this comes in at a 1. Now, if it was in stock form, it would have been a 2. However, it is 1 because this is a car that inspires the aggression in young male individuals to whip their dick out and try to show that they're the fastest driver on the road, even though, once again referring back to the enthusiast category, it's not as fast as other cars on the road. Still fun though, but it comes in as a 1 for new drivers.
So thank you for joining us on this journey of the Genesis Coupe. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell. And if you'd like to contact us about driving your car and making a video on that, please email us at info@desertoctane.us. Now I am off for my first live-action movie role, the dubbing of Legend of the Shaolin Monkey King, The Dragon Returns 6. Thank you, and have a pleasant evening.
Kiwi.
Watermelon, apple, kiwi, banana, strawberries.
Repeat.
Grapes,
You can repeat.
oranges, bananas,
Kiwi.
kiwis,
Squash.
strawberries.
Dragon fruit.
I am awesome.
Dragon fruit.
Angel's okay.
Oh, f*** you.
David, he could be better. And let's think about.
Big booty girls.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.